you're either going to be the cause of the change in your family's dynamics, or you're going to tolerate the lack of change, one or the other. And for a long time, I tolerated the lack of change in myself and in my husband and in our family's dynamic because it just fit for that season, or I didn't really feel that things needed changing. I wasn't dissatisfied in any area. It was okay. It was kind of enjoyable, going out to eat all the time and just kind of bebopping around town and doing things and really just not building mindlessly, but not really having conviction in my purpose. Because when you shift over into a very strong conviction in your purpose, whoa, I'm wasting a lot of time and I need to get it going. I need to get going on what God is telling me to do. I need to start correcting. I need to start looking at these things and I need to start making these changes. And when you shift over into that mindset, things go from being just kind of, you know, unclear and, enjoyable to all of a sudden business. All of a sudden things got serious. All of a sudden you shifted into no longer tolerating certain things that you used to, into a a clearer, more, I don't want to say strict, but more serious person. This doesn't mean that your joy goes away and that you don't do anything fun and that you don't enjoy life and you don't, but you start noticing the things that you think bring you joy. For example, if you have spent a lot of your years drinking alcohol and socializing, then you probably don't know who you are without that, because you think, I have all these friends. I got so many friends and everybody likes me, and this is my group, this is my tribe. Okay, let's take the alcohol away. Now are you all friends? Now? Because what you think when you're under the influence of something like that is not really the case. I mean, you think things are fun. And if you were actually looking from the outside, you probably look like a wreck. I mean, in my early 20s, I partied a lot on the weekends. I worked very hard during the week, and we went out to clubs, my girlfriends, and we got dressed up, and we went out, and we would get pretty tanked. And I thought, oh, this is fun, but I can guarantee, looking from the outside in, I was a wreck. I was a mess. I was a drunk, idiot. And thank God nothing like major happened, and God pulled me out of that lifestyle because it's so extremely toxic. And I know women that drinking becomes part of their social. I'm stressed, I'm gonna have a glass of wine. Oh, I'm going to a friend's house, I'm gonna have a glass of wine. If you're invited to a party, bring a bottle of olive oil instead of a bottle of wine. Bring a candle. Bring a cookbook or a coffee table book. There's other things that you can bring. A nice thing of raw honey, a balsamic vinaigrette, some, premium coffee. There's gifts that you can bring if you're going to somebody's house. Flowers, a loaf of fresh artisan bread. I mean, it doesn't have to be, oh, I brought a bottle of wine or I brought some alcohol. But I know people that those two things, drinking and socializing, has become part of their identity. And what happens is when those get removed, you have to find yourself all over again. You got to figure out who you are without those things. A lot of times our identity is wrapped up in how much money we make, and you got to figure out who you are when you're not making all that money, or your identity is wrapped up in the job that you're doing, or your employer's paying the bill, or it's just wrapped up in things that aren't really rooted in the clarity that God wants to strip those things away. That's what the pruning process is. It's stripping those things away. It's stripping, it's refining, it's pruning. Who are you when you have nothing? Who are you when nobody's rooting for you? Who are you when you've lost everything? Who are you when you're broke? Who are you when you're building from the ground up? Who are you? And that's who God wants. He wants your heart, your raw, open heart. Not this person who has had all of these false identities attached to them. He wants to strip those things away from you. And if you let him do that, as painful as it is, as frustrating as it is, if you let him do that, what you'll see is the desires in your heart, the godly desires in your heart. He put them there. He placed them there. Your deep desires, when you go back and think, what are the things that really make me happy and give me joy? He wants to use those for something bigger. Now, I'm not talking about focusing on yourself your whole life, but it's using your gifts and talents for a bigger person, or a bigger purpose. to develop you into somebody who is a change maker, who makes a difference, who can change the lineage of your family tree, of your kids, of generational things. When you're on the front lines like that, it's battle, it's war. And a lot of part of war is preparation. A lot of part of being in the front lines of the battle is preparation. You spend a lot of time in preparation, but the preparation isn't just sitting back and not doing anything. Like these videos on YouTube that I do, these are preparation. They're preparation for something bigger. I could write them down. I could have a list and say, these are all the videos I want to do and all the topics I want to talk about. I could have a list, a book of everything I want to talk about when I'm ready. And when I'm looking great, and when my hair's done. I'm going to wait till my makeup's done and my hair is done, and then I'm going to batch out all these videos and make it look like I did them all on different days so I look great in each video, and I'm going to wait until I'm ready to do it. Well, that's not the type of preparedness I'm talking about. Preparing is in the doing. So I'm preparing for something bigger by showing up and doing what I can do right now. This isn't the end. This is just part of the process. It's a building process. It's a developmenting process. It's a becoming process. And when you're ready, God will uproot you from where you're at, and you'll kind of start feeling it. You'll start sensing it if you're locked in with him, if you're connected to him, and you are really rooted and grounded. You'll know. Ooh, he's shaking things up. It's interesting that a few years ago in 2022, I kept having a word. I thought this was for everybody. I actually thought, oh God, this is for the world. But it was specifically for me, and it was buckle up. And I kept hearing God say in my spirit, buckle up, buckle up. Things are going to get bumpy, buckle up. And I was telling people, God says buckle up, God says buckle up. But that was for me. It wasn't for everybody else. It was for the time in my life that was coming up that I needed to buckle up. And boy, it got really bumpy after that. And not until recently I realized, man, that word was for me. Buckle up. And so he will take you on different levels and different journeys if you submit and you let go of the things that you keep holding on to. The things that you're familiar with, the ways that you do things. You always showed up this way. Your content, if you're a content creator, I always did it this way. I can't change now. I go to these places. I drive the same way to work. I drive the same car. I live at the same place. All of these things that you continue doing day in and day out. He wants to disrupt all that because the change is in the disruption. It takes major disruption for change. And when your behavioral patterns are so strong, you need a disruption for those things to change. Your behavioral patterns are a language. No matter what you say or what your intentions are or what the potential is, somebody that you love or could have great potential. Oh, they have so much potential. They have so much potential to be great. Okay, well, the proof is in their patterns. So even though the potential is there, the patterns are what's actually producing the results. And if they're a slave to their patterns, if they're more committed to their patterns than they are to becoming a better version of themselves, you're not going to break that. Because people are committed to the wrong things all the time. They're committed to the patterns that destroy them. They're committed to their family culture. They're committed to upholding the traditions of their culture. They're committed to these things, And that can become a form of idolatry because you're not willing to lay those things down for the people around you, or you're not willing to lay those things down because you've held on to them for so tight, for so long. You're not willing to become somebody new. You're not willing to change and develop. So you have to get to the point where you notice, okay, the years are passing, time's passing. We're now in July, almost the end of July. What have I done in the past 7 months this year? What have I really done? What have I accomplished? What's still on my to-do list or on my prepared list? Oh, my arm's getting tired. I just did an arm workout. I gotta put this down. What's still on my to-do list that I haven't done, that I haven't accomplished, that I still need to get to, or that I still feel like I'm not ready for? Because you can read about riding a bike and learning, this is how you ride a bike. You move your legs. This is the type of bike you should get. This is how fast you should go. Get your helmet, get your stuff. Or you can just learn by doing. Grab your helmet and start doing. And that's where the learning comes from. And that's really where the growing comes from, is in the doing. It's the process of falling down as you're climbing. It's the turbulent process of lifting to a higher level. And just to be prepared too, when you start this, the mockers and the scoffers, they're going to come out. They're going to poke and they're going to prod. They don't know what level you're at. They don't know what stage in the building process you're at. You may have lost 50 pounds, but you're still overweight. And you're showing up overweight. People are like, oh, she's overweight. Yeah, well, I lost 50 pounds. And I've been going hardcore for, not me specifically, but I'm just saying, and people will point out those things. And you just have to be prepared for that. And I've probably done it too. I mean, we all fall short. We're all guilty of seeing something and making a judgment based on what we see. But if you want to stand out in your business or in your sphere of influence in life, not just for your me attention, but if you want to stand out to do something good, you have to stay relevant. And by staying relevant means you're always like 10 steps ahead. You're like, okay, I know that Christmas is coming. Okay, so I'm preparing right now because I know that that's going to be a season, of that I want to do something different this year, or I want to change, or I want to decorate different, or whatever. So you're always kind of preparing early. And some people will say, well, you're rushing through life. Well, I prefer the anticipation of something more than I prefer staying in or lingering in a season that's no longer serving me. If the season is not serving anymore and it's done, I'm over it. It's like I'm done with it. I don't want to continue staying in something that I know God's trying to pull this from you, and He's trying to bring you into a new season, maybe even quicker than you feel that you're ready for. Maybe you're not feeling prepared or ready for, and He's like, hey, I have something new for you, and I want to pull you into this new season, so I need you to let go of this old one. Otherwise, it's going to be a little, otherwise you're going to have to buckle up. So start preparing for that new season by ungripping and letting go of the things that are not serving you. Your bad habits might include staying up late, sleeping in, not being aware of the food that you're eating. It might include a 1,500 calorie coffee that you get every morning on your way to work. It might include gossiping with friends, or going out to drink and socialize on the weekend and thinking, this is okay, this is all we do. It might be watching things that are not good for you, binge watching. It might be mindless scrolling. It might be things that are all kinds of things that are stealing your time and stealing and distracting you from really the bigger purpose. And when you start realizing and waking up to the bigger purpose that God has for you, you'll start being like, man, I let Netflix steal hours of my time. I gave my life for, doom scrolling or Netflix or these friendships that all they did was tear me down, So then you start getting kind of pissed because you're just like, man, I allowed that. And again, going back to the beginning of this video, if you're either going to tolerate things not changing, or you are going to be the one making the change. And if you're on the front, I call it the front lines, because usually the one that's the change maker, or the one in the family, or the one anywhere that says, no more, I'm not tolerating this anymore, we're not living this way anymore, we're not living in debt anymore, we're not doing this anymore, we're not going out to eat and spending $1,000 a month going out to eat, we're not turning into these fat slobs, we're going to take care of our body, we're going to get this debt under control, we're going to get our life under control. We're not going out and partying. We're not doing this anymore. When you become that person, most of the time, people around you, or the people that you have in your circle, even your spouse or close family members or in-laws, they're going to be like, this, she thinks she's better than us. That'll be one of the things, but they might lay all the guilt trips on you, or all of a sudden, you're ruffling feathers and they do not like it. And they will do everything they can to keep things as it was. He didn't design you to keep living the same year over and over and to keep things as it was. He talks so much about renewing of the mind. Don't look back. Behold, I'm doing something new. You can't put old wine in new wineskin. Like, he talks about it all the time in his word. You need to be continuously renewing your mind. Why? Because what's in the mind is connected to what's in the heart, and then that comes out in what you're talking about, and that comes out in your actions, and that produces your life. So if your life has rotten fruit, which I'm not talking about, being poor, rotten fruit, I'm talking about bad relationships, bad habits, all of this rottenness, rotten fruit can be seen and smelt a mile away. And if your life is producing that, and you're the cause of it, or you're allowing it, and you don't have the guts to say no more, because this is below how God designed us for, this is way lower than what we're capable of, then you deserve it. And that's it. You deserve the life. You deserve the fruit that comes with it, because you're always going to produce your like kind. So you don't get it under control, okay, then you're going to have a life where things are not under control. If you don't get the debt paid off, okay, then you're going to live in debt. If you don't get the weight off, okay, then you're going to live not being happy with your body. If you don't start taking care of what you're eating, okay, then you're going to feel like junk. If you don't stop staying up late, okay, your hormones are going to be messed up. You're not going to sleep well. If you don't correct the behavior, then it's a law. You reap what you sow. It's not karma. You're literally reaping what you sowed. And when you sow the same thing over and over and over for a period of time, guess what? Those behaviors and those patterns and those habits and those choices are going to become your life. Your intentions and your potential won't matter at some point. The potential that this person has, their intentions were good. They didn't mean it. Oh, yes, they did. They said they meant what they said, because it was in their heart. So if it wasn't in their heart, they wouldn't have said it. Watch how people talk. You got to watch how they live, what they do, and when they speak in a victim. I have been in a position where I caught myself, man, I'm acting like a total victim right now. I'm blaming. I'm justifying. I'm making excuses. I'm so sad and hurt, but yet I'm not willing to take accountability and really realize I'm here because I allowed it. I either did it to myself or did it to my family, or I allowed it. Either my husband did it and I allowed it, or I did it and I allowed it. One or the two. So you can't just be, oh, well, this is the way it is. This is what happened. I can't do it. I'm struggling. Yeah, you're making it harder on yourself. So wake up. Take a good look at what it is that you need to break free from, and get going. Get it going. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be there's going to be some bumps in it. There's going to be a little turmoil. It's going to be turbulent. It's going to be uneasy. It's going to be stressful. But you got to pick your hard. That's that saying. People are like, pick your hard. Yeah, it's true. Pick the hardness. Because either way, you either do the hard work now for freedom later, or you stay in the comfort and the easy now, and then you have to deal with all of the repercussions of that later. Because later comes, there's always going, if you don't handle the mess now, the mess is going to handle you. It's going to, you can't just turn the other way and be like, well, I'll just make more money and that'll get me out of debt. That might be part of it, but if the same habits keep you going back in, it's not going to change. Well, I'll just lose the weight. Yeah, but if you gain it all back, that's not going to change. I'll just get on Ozempic. That'll help. Okay, well, if you don't change your habits, it'll all come back plus some. The mind needs to change. The mentality needs to change. You need to change. You need to renew yourself daily. It's a daily walk, day in and day out. You renew it daily. You renew yourself daily. And those new choices over time will start developing into a much more beautiful life that's not chaotic. When there's clarity and not chaos, and there's order and not confusion, and when your space is in order, it's not all cluttered up, and when you don't have all these half returns and half decided clothes and things that you kind of like but you're not sure what to do with. You got things that you're indecision about. You don't know. You got half read books, clothes that you don't know what to do with, half-used condiments in your fridge, drawers of maybe someday stuff, and just in case stuff. You've got, I'm holding on to this just in case, half of this and half of that. You're living in an indecision, which is a type of limbo, which is chaos. It's chaos in the mind. It's chaos in the body. And that produces more of its kind. It produces more anxiety, more frustration. You got to make a clear break. I'm in or I'm out. I'm either going to choose to live this way in a house that looks like a museum, trading my life for stuff, or I'm going to break free. Which one do you want more? I'm either going to live stuck in the world system, always borrowing and needing debt and needing credit, and focused on my credit score has to be perfect for me to really be wealthy, or you're going to break free and say, no, I'm not going to be a slave to anybody, especially not the world, and I'm breaking free from this. You get to decide these things, and decide them early. You'll save yourself so much time, so much money, a lot of interest, and a lot of frustration. So decide what you want and start moving.